All right, everybody, welcome to the next game in the NBC Game of the Week. I did have one malfunction that I'm going to have to deal with, and we will deal with it shortly. That malfunction being is I can't find Wrigley Field. So I'm going to go on the computer in my save files and just have it up on my screen, and I'll just have to read it off to you. I don't have it. I thought for sure I had it printed out somewhere, but I've looked all over and cannot find it. So I don't know what happened to it, but I didn't want to delay any longer. That's why I was a few minutes late getting on to begin with, because I was searching for Wrigley Field and I could not find it. So I don't know what happened to it. I'm fairly sure I printed one out and I just don't know what happened to it. So with all these games I'm playing and different games and stuff, I got stuff all over the place. So I can see where that would happen. If I was just playing one game and that was it, if I only did one game engine and that was it would be no problem. Everything would be nice and smooth. But when you do 5 or 6 different things, then that can affect it. But I should have looked at this a little earlier. I did not do that, so that's my own undoing, I suppose. Now let's see if I can pull up the. I don't even know if I can find it now in my files. Thought it was here, but maybe not. Let's see. It's got to be in here somewhere. I don't know where it would be. It's got to be in my downloads. I really don't know. Really don't like it when it's this situation where I can't find it. Well, we're just going to move on without Wrigley Field, basically, which is going to suck because that's deep drives and stuff like that. So I'm searching within my computer, but it's going to take me a second to find it. I don't know where it would be. I don't know what it would be under. I really don't know. I am at a loss here. Next Saturday there is no game because there was no game of the week because of the Olympics. So I can see the score sheets here, but I don't know where the season ticket stuff would be. Should have been in my downloads. See if I put it on my desktop. It's rather embarrassing, but it happens from time to time. Once in a blue moon it will happen, and today is one of those blue moon days. And so I just don't see it. I do not see it, folks. I do not see it. I may have to play this game at a different stadium because I don't have the stadium card. And I don't know what else to do with it. I thought it was printed out, but obviously it wasn't. And now I can have a hard time finding the file. So we may have to play this game at a different location, maybe Comiskey Park, right across the town. I'm going to go with Comiskey Park. That's all I can do. So they had trouble at Wrigley Field, so we were playing at Comiskey Park today. We're just going to have to make that substitution. There's no other way around it. Got to play at Comiskey Park. No, you don't, RJL. But then you don't see one game all the time on this channel either. So I don't know. Let me go to the season ticket site. I know it was in my downloads, obviously, so I don't know what happened to it. I might just say screw it and play the game at Comiskey Park and be done with it, because I have Comiskey Park all pulled out. Apparently, this is obviously the first game I played on the NBC Game of the Week in Chicago, or either I had one in Chicago, I had a thing, and it's no longer. So screw that, I'm not going there. So we're not going to do. We're just going to play the game of Comiskey and be done with it. That's all I can tell you. We're just going to play the Comiskey and be done with it. So, Comiskey Park. And let's see, it's a June. Actually, this game was played July 1st. So, July average temperature 68. And that is an 18. So, that's a 85. So, it will be a 1. We'll get a +1 on the ballpark. So, +1 on the deep drives. So, we are playing at Comiskey. It'll be Dennis Lamp against Randy Lerch, the two teams involved, or two pitchers involved, I should say. So Dennis Lamp will take the mound first. There you see the benches in the bullpen. The starting lineups are here for the Phillies. You can peruse those real quick. Jose Cardinal's playing first base. Kind of unusual for him to be playing first base instead of the outfield, but he is. Cubs, pretty much a standard lineup. Larry Cox is a catcher. He doesn't usually catch that much, but he is catching this one. And Gene Clines is playing left field because of the left-handed starter for the Phillies. All right, we're a little bit out of sorts. In fact, we're a lot out of sorts today, actually. But we're going to sally forth and see what we can do. So I realize this stuff's on the website, but I'm not messing with that. It's not that important. It really, in the bigger scheme of things, it really isn't that damn important. So I'm just going to play. All right, 261 against a left-hander is a redirect to a 531, and a 531 is the first baseman, and that is going to be Larry Bintner. But with a blue 1, that should be pretty easy. 531's an easy play. 3 unassisted. And there's 1 away. Here's Larry Boa, shortstop. 317, non-split, and that is an infield single for Larry Boa. Of course, while trying to find Wrigley Field, it distracted me from getting my base runners, so let me get those real quick as it distracted me from that. Get onto one thing and you get distracted onto something else. Apparently, I have not done the Cubs, and the Cubs apparently have not played an NBC game of the week because I don't even have a cutout for them for base runners. So you would have thought they would have played by now on the NBC game of the week, but apparently they have not. So, but I do have them already pre-printed. I just never cut them out. So let me go ahead and do that real quick so we can get our Cub base runners when it's time. Okay, so I got them. Now when it's time, I'll have them ready to go. So Boa's at first base on the single. His steal is only a 1. That's not too good to get the lead. 1 and holds a 0, though, so he still might be able to do it because Dennis Lamp doesn't hold runners very well. Hello, Alan. Hello, Phoenix. Hello, Captain, RJL, Brian B., all you guys. Sorry about being a little out of sorts. All right. The hold rating on Lamp is a 0. Steal rating on Boa is a 1. So basically, need to have a 9 or higher to make it above the 10. And they do. So Boa will get the lead, and he's got 7 speed, which is really good. And then the catcher arm, Larry Cox, is a 4. So we've got a 7 versus a 4. 7 versus a 4. And again, on here, got to beat 14. Tie or beat 14. Well, he's already a 7, so all these 3 dice have to do is add up to 7 or higher. And they do. So stolen base for Larry Boa. He steals. Mike Schmidt's not in this game, by the way. He is on the bench. He is available, but he just is not starting this game for whatever reason. So Boa is at second base on the stolen base. And now that'll bring up Gary Maddox. 403. Non-split 403 against a right-hander. Line drive to third. 2 down. Runner on third might be picked off, but there's no runner on third to worry about. 2 down. And that's going to bring up the bull, Greg Luzinski. 403, and that's again a non-split, which is a walk. So first and second, 2 down, and Richie Hebner is your batter. 138, and that's going to be a fly to left. That's going to end the inning. So Lamp gets out of it unscathed. We go to the bottom of the first here at Comiskey. Phillies nothing, Cubs coming to bat. Due up for the Phillies on the mound is left-hander Randy Lerch. He was 11-8 with a 396 earned run average. Rodney Scott is your leadoff hitter for the Cubbies. He is playing third base in this game. Ontiveros usually would play third base, you would think, but today they have Rodney Scott. So he will be the third baseman and leadoff man for the Cubbies against Mr. Lerch. And we'll see what the Cubbies can do. 566, that's the shortstop Boa. Let's see if he can make the play. 566 is a 6-3 ground out. He was able to make the play. Yeah, they had problems at Wrigley, so the game had to be moved across town at the last minute. So here's Gene Kleins. 599, that's terrible. Right fielder has no chance on this. Right fielder is McBride, but he's not going to get to this. 599 is going to be a single. So it's a base hit for Gene Kleins. He's aboard with 1 out. He's not really much of a threat to run. And Bobby Mercer. 358, and that's a non-split. That's a fly to left. 2 away. And now it's up to Manny Trio. Strange to have him in the cleanup role, but that's where they got him today. That's where Herman Franks has him. 467 against a left-hander. 467 is a 4 to 6 fielder's choice, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Cubs either in the first. At the end of 1, no score from Comiskey. And yes, I did not make a Freudian slip. This game is at Comiskey. It's not at Wrigley. They had heavy rains last night, and the drainage system is not working. So it had to be moved to Comiskey. Here's Jose Cardinal. Hello, Tony and Doug. 127. If I say something and Doug, it makes you think of the insurance commercial about Emu and Doug. So Liberty Mutual, I guess it is. Not to give them free publicity. 127 is a fly to left. Because those, I used to think the Flow commercials were annoying, but I think this one beats that for annoyance. Here's Bob Boone. But maybe that's the whole point. They annoy you so you remember them, and that's their whole shtick, I guess. All right, ground ball to third, and it's going to be Rodney Scott. 553. Should still be okay with that. He is a 5-4-3 double play if anybody was on base, but no one's on. Just a 5-3 ground out. And there are 2 away. For Sizemore. 331, and that's a non-split, and that's an infield single for Sizemore. So Sizemore gets a 2-out infield single. What that does is it allows Randy Lerch to hit. Lerch is a contact of 4 and an eye of 4, so not bad. 4 on both counts for his pitcher batting. So if we get to that roll, he has a pretty good chance. And we do, 405. So 405 is going to be looking at its I rating. And 405 right here with the I rating of 4 is actually going to be a walk. So how about that? 405 with an I rating of 4 is a walk. How do you like that? 405 is a walk. Talk about cardinal sin, walking the pitcher. Now there's 2 on, 2 outs, and we're back to the top of the order for Big McBride. No relation to Martina, as far as I know. 473 against a right-hander. 473 is a single to center field. How about that? And they're going to be able to challenge the center fielder throw, no problem. They're definitely going to challenge that. So we'll see if he can score. Center fielder for Chicago is Mercer. We'll get Mercer's arm. Mercer's arm is a 4. I'm sorry, it's a 5 in center field. It's a 5 arm in center field. The runner on third is Sizemore. His speed is a 5 also. So we got a 5 challenging a 5. So we go to the challenge the arm chart. And the 5 arm from Mercer plus the 10 is a 15. So the 5 speed, we need to roll 10 or higher to beat that throw. And they 10 right on the number. So he beats the tag. It's very close. Tie goes to the runner. 15 and a 15. It is greater than or equal to. So the run scores. RBI single from Bake McBride, and all boils down to that 2-out walk to the pitcher. That's what killed him. That kept the inning going, and that's what happens. 1-0 Phillies. Here is Larry Boa. That's a 532. That'll be easy play for the first baseman for the Cubs, Larry Bittner. A 532 is a 3-6-3 double play, but there were already 2 outs, so it's just a 3 unassisted, and that will end the inning. But the Phillies do take the run and take a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the second. Due up for the Cubbies will be right fielder Mike Vail, former Met. Did I do 532? Did I read it 523? Either way, for the catcher, 523 would be a pop out to the catcher. So either way, he's out regardless. Either 3 unassisted or pop out to the catcher. They're 6-1, half dozen the other. Fortunately, it was out either way. So if I did misread that, then apologize for that. But it didn't affect anything, thank goodness. 577, that's not good for Luzinski. He's not great defensively to begin with. And that's going to be a double for Mike Vail. So Mike Vail, a leadoff double, as Luzinski had no chance. Luzinski had absolutely no chance on that. Leadoff double for Vail. And that'll bring up Larry Bittner. And you can bet after this game, I'm going to go find that Wrigley Field and print it off. Boy, a lot of fielding checks. 545, we're looking at the second baseman, Ted Sizemore. And a 545 is a 4-3 ground out. So that means the runner's going to take third base with only 1 out. So Vail's at third with 1 out, and Ivan DeJesus, the batter. The infield's going to come in. They don't want to give up a cheap run. The infield is in. And that's another fielding check. 590. Right fielder, who happens to be Bake McBride. 590. Fly to right. Runner on third. Has to challenge. I'm reading that to be the question mark. Exclamation point, I believe, is a have to challenge. I will double check that. But I believe they have to go. I don't believe he's automatically out. I believe he just has to go. Look at my terminology here. Where are you? Why am I not seeing this? It's got to be on here somewhere. Here we go. Must challenge. Okay, so he must challenge is the arm. Okay, so he must challenge. It's not optional. The fly ball was to right field. Right fielder arm is Bake McBride. He is a 4. The runner on third is Vail. His speed is a 0. So that's not good. So he must challenge the arm, but he's got to get to 14. These 3 dice have to equal 14 or he will be out. And he is out. So Mike Vail is out. It's going to be a double play. How do you like that? A fly to right, and then a 9-2 double play with Boone applying the tag, and that's going to do it for the Cubbies here in the second. So we go to the third. Still 1-0 Phils, as Mr. McBride had a great throw. Hello, Ronnie. Good to see you. All right, here is Gary Maddox. That's a 6-14. That's a deep drive, and a 6-14 is going to be a strikeout. So he struck him out. Maddox is out of there on strikes, 1 away. Here's Greg Luzinski. That's a 668. So now we're starting to get fielding ballpark checks. 668 is going to be a 1-3 ground out. So he grounds right back to the pitcher, Lamp. 2 quick outs, and here comes Richie Hebner. That's a 152, and that's going to be a ground ball to first, unassisted, taken by Bittner. And it is a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Phillies. We go to the bottom of the third, still 1-0 Phils over the Cubs. You're on the NBC game of the week. Again, no NBC game of the week next week because of Wimbledon. NBC did not have a game of the week on July 8th because of Wimbledon coverage. So there will be no NBC game of the week. I may do something else, but it won't be an NBC game of the week. All right, here's Larry Cox. 542, and that should be an easy play for the second baseman, Sizemore. A 542 is an easy 4-3 ground out. 1 away, and here comes the pitcher, Dennis Lamp. He is a contact of 3 and an eye of 2. Oops. Contact of 3 and an eye of 2. 512. That's right back to the pitcher, Lerch. That's an easy 1-3 ground out. So 2 away. And back to the top of the order for Rodney Scott. Scott, 135, is going to be a fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. So 3-up, 3-down go the Cubbies. We go to the bottom of the fourth, or top of the fourth, rather, and it's still 1-0 Phils. From Comiskey Park, the adjunct to Wrigley Field, Jose Cardinal will lead things off. Flew to left his first chance. 332 non-split, and that's an infield. I'm sorry, that's a 6-4 ground out. 3-3-2. That is a 6-3 ground out. Nobody on base. Easy play for DeJesus. 1 away for Bob Boone, catcher. 562 should be an easy play for DeJesus with that blue 2 there, but we will make sure. 562 is a 6-3 ground out. Easy play. 2 up, 2 down, and that brings up Sizemore. He singled to get everything started in the second inning. 193 is going to do it again. 193 is a bloop single. So, again, Sizemore hits a 2-out single to keep the inning going. And once again, we got Randy Lerch. 4 contact and 4 eye rating for Randy Lerch. But we're under Lamp's card, 185, and that's another bloop single. But with 2 outs, the bloop single moves the runner to third. So how about this? This 2-out rally by the bottom of the order for the Phillies. Been a thorn in Dennis Lamp's side. And now here's Bake McBride. Hello, Mr. Gudeman. Hello, Ernest. Good to see you. Good to see both of you, actually. Here's McBride. We get a 271. That's against a left-handed batter, McBride. 271 is going to be a fly ball to right field. Against a right-hander, it would have been a deep drive, but against a lefty, it's a fly to right. And Lamp gets out of the mess. So we go to the bottom of the fourth. Still 1-0 Phillies over the Cubbies. Randy Lerch back out. will be facing Kleins, Mercer, and Trio for the Cubbies. 461, and Lerch is a left-handed pitcher, so we're looking at the lefty column. 461 is a single to center field. Would have been a strikeout against a righty, but against a lefty, it's a single. So Gene Kleins, who hits lefties very well, gets himself a base hit. He's aboard for Bobby Mercer. That's a 539. That's trouble for the first baseman, Jose Cardinal. That blue 9 is going to give him fits. And in fact, a 539 is a one base error on Jose Cardinal, E3. So Cardinal boots it, and that's going to put runners at first and second with nobody out. Cubs have a chance to not only tie the game, but to potentially grab the lead as Manny Trio steps up. That's a 346 non-split chance. 346 is a 6-4 fielder's choice, so the runner on second will take third. The runner on first, Mercer, is out 6-4, and Trio reaches first base on that same 6-4 fielder's choice. So now one out, and runners at the corners for Mike Weddingvale. Infield for the Phillies is back for the double play. 422, and that's against a lefty again. 422, it's a 6-4-3 double play, just what the doctor ordered right here. 408 to 426, that's a 422. 6-4-3 double play ends the inning. And Randy Lerch pitches out of the mess. Cubs come away empty again. We go to the fifth. It's still 1-0 Phillies. From Comiskey Park, as there was drainage problems at Wrigley after all the rain last night, so the game had to be shifted to Comiskey Park. All right, here's Larry Boa. 354 for Boa is a 4-3 ground out. Would have been a 4-6 fielder's choice had a runner been on first, but since there's nobody on, you just change that to a 3 and make it a traditional 4-3 ground out. One down for Gary Maddox. That's a 494. Again, against a right-hander, 494 is a deep fly to center field. That is out number 2. So hit it well, but to the deepest part of the park, and now there's 2 away for Luzinski. 189, and that's going to be a bloop single for Luzinski. So Luzinski, a 2-out single, and this is where Lamp runs into trouble. He gets the first 2 outs, but then starts giving up base hits. Here's Hebner. 271 against a left-handed hitter. 271 is a fly to right field. Would have been a deep drive to a righty, but to a lefty, it's a fly to right. And the inning is over once again. Lamp pitches out of the mess. We go to the bottom of the fifth. It is still 1-0 Phillies. That one run has held up all the way to this point. Larry Bittner, lefty on lefty matchup with Randy Lerch. That's a 314, and that's a non-split. 300-320 is a strikeout. So Bittner bites the dust. That's actually the first strikeout for Lerch. Took him 5 innings to get it, but he finally got one. And here's Ivan DeJesus. 372 non-split is a 6-3 ground out. 2 down. 2 away. And that will send up Larry Cox. Hello, Jimmy Jan. Cox, 342 actually. 342 is going to be a 6-3 ground out. That's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Cubbies either. We go to the 6th, and it's still 1-0. And now that we're in the 6th inning, this is the fatigue inning for both pitchers because they have fatigue ratings of 5. So that means they can pitch 5 complete innings with no damage. But now that we're in the 6th, we watch the stamina. Every hit they give up or walk they give up will add 10 to the ballpark roll if it gets to that. So here is Cardinal. He will lead it off against Lamp. 254 against a right-handed batter. 254 is a redirect to a 564. So 564 is a fielding check for the shortstop to Jesus. And a 564 is a 6-3 ground out. 564, 6-3 ground out. So one away. And that will bring up Bob Boone. 486 against a right-hander, a 486. Another deep drive to center field. 498 would have been a deep drive to left for a check of a home run, but not this time. And here comes Sizemore, number 8 hitter. 355. 355 is a pop-up to first, and that's going to end the inning as Bentner makes the play. And Lamp finally gets a 1-2-3 inning for himself. So he keeps full endurance because he gave up nothing. He has full endurance going into the 7th. Same situation for Lerch. He will start his fatigue inning. Now, Lamp is set to lead off. They're down 1-0. But he's pitching pretty well. But the Cubbies do have good bullpens. So I think we're going to possibly looking at pinch hitters here. These are the guys that are available. Kelleher is the only righty, couple switches against the lefty. So let's look at the Cubs bench and see if anybody is worthy of getting called. Kelleher hit 253. That's good enough for me. So we're going to go with Mick Kelleher. So Mick Kelleher will come on and pinch hit for the pitcher Lamp, and we'll close the book on Lamp. He will go 6 innings. He is responsible for that run, so he is on the hook for the loss if the Cubs don't come back to at least tie this game. So Kelleher gets the call in the pinch. And then after the inning is over, we'll figure out who the new pitcher is going to be for the Cubbies. Phillies will have the pitcher spot, McBride and Boa, so it could be a lefty. You never know. Lerch, 624, but the home team's batting make it 634 because you add 10 to that with the home team batting. But 634 is still a fly out to center field. So Kelleher cannot come through with a pinch hit. He will fly to center, and there's one away. Brings up Rodney Scott. That's a 4.87. Scott against the lefty on a 4.87 is a triple. Look at that. 4.87 is a triple for Rodney Scott. How do you like that? Rodney Scott, a one-out triple. And the Cubs have the tying run 90 feet away. Rodney Scott with a triple. See it clear as day. 4.87, and on his card, 4.87 is a triple against lefties and righties. So the infield for the Phillies will come in. Now, if we get a ballpark result, since Lerch gave up that hit, we'll add 10 more to it due to fatigue. But right now, they're facing Kleins and trying to get out of the mess. That's a 173, and that's a pop-up to first. That's exactly the way you do it. You pop him up and don't let the runners advance. So now with 2 outs, the infield goes back to normal. And you just have to get by Bobby Mercer. 670, but there's 2 factors here. Home team is batting, makes it 680. Lerch gave up the triple, makes it 690. So 690 is going to be a single. So it's going to be a base hit. Base hit. And 670 without any influence would have been a wild pitch that would have scored the run. And it's a base hit either way you go. So Mercer has just tied this ball game. They get Dennis Lamp off the hook. And we got a tie game at 1. Now the question is, Lerch is going to lead off the next inning. They'd love to get him through this inning and pinch hit for him in the top of the 7th. But can you keep going with him? That's the question. That's trouble. That's 600 again. That is going to be a 632. But then you're going to add now 30 points to that because he's given up 2 hits and plus the home team batting. So that's 6. Or do you give up? Or is it 4? I'm trying to remember because he gave up a hit and he's given up 2 hits and a run. Is that 30? Is that an extra 30 for the guys that play this thing all the time? Is that an extra 30 I should give him or just the 20? for the hits. Do we count runs as well? I'm trying to remember on the fatigue if we count runs as well, because it could make a difference. Run doesn't count. Okay, so it's just the 30. It's the 2 hits he gave up plus the 10 for the home team. So that's going to turn into a 662, and a 662 is still a 3-1 put out to end the inning. But the score is now tied thanks to the triple by Scott and the single by Mercer. And that's going to be it for Randy Lerch. His day is done. He will get, well, he can still win it if the Phillies take the lead in the top of the 7th, but he's going to be capped at 6 innings as well. And now the Cubbies will need a new pitcher. Trio made the last out at second. I don't think you want to do a double switch with that. So I think they're just going to bring in a pitcher and keep his normal batting position. So let's see who the Phillies have. Well, first of all, the Phillies are going to have a pinch hitter for Lerch, but the Cubs have to announce the pitcher before the pinch hitter is announced. So let's see who they might want to go with. Tough call in all of this. They will go with Donnie Moore. So Donnie Moore will be coming on, the right-hander, in back of Dennis Lamp. And now the Phillies will need to bring in a pinch hitter. This is who they have on the bench: Foote, Johnson, Martin, Schmidt, McCarver, and Harrelson. McCarver, the only lefty, if they wanted to play percentages. There is no Jay Johnstone. He's not available. Carver only 247. Harrelson's only 214. They might go to a right-hander. Let's see. Jerry Martin's 271. He's pretty good. I'm going to save Schmidt. I don't want to burn Schmidt this early. So I'm going to use Jerry Martin to pinch hit for Lerch. And then we'll figure out who the pitcher is going to be in the bottom of the 7th. But right now, Jerry Martin. Jerry, my favorite Martin, is going to come in and pinch hit for the pitcher Lerch. Thank you for that clarification, Captain. Like I said, I play so many games, it's hard to tell sometimes which things represent what. So nice to have the clarification. 253 more against the right-hander. 253 is going to be a single. How about that? Jerry Martin, a pinch hit single. Had we used a lefty, that would have been an out. But playing the righty actually got the hit. So because we went for a better average. So Jerry Martin gets himself a pinch hit single. Not really that much of a threat to run, so they will hold him fast. And Bake McBride is your batter. Moore, 621. 621 is a pop-up to second base. So that's going to be one away. And Trio will make the catch. One down for Larry Boa, shortstop. He's 1 for 3. 429 against a right-hander. 429 is a pop-up to third. So he's going to pop it up or foul it out to third, whichever you prefer. Doesn't really matter in this case. And Gary Maddox, the batter. More to Maddox, 404. 404 is going to be a line drive to third base. And that's going to end the inning. And the Phils come away empty-handed. Donnie Moore pitches very well. He will be subject to fatigue next inning, but they might pinch hit for him if they get that far in the order. We'll have to wait and see how they want to do that. Phillies need a pitcher as a pinch hit for Lerch. So looking at their bullpen, they got Brewster, Eastwick, Reed, and McGraw, 4 bullpen arms. Question is, who do they go for? Cubs are going to have Vail, Bentner, and DeJesus, 2 righties. So with those 2 righties, it appears that Gene Garber will be coming on to pitch for the Phillies. Gene Garber. Oh, wait a minute. Garber's not available. What am I talking about? Why did I pick him out? He's not even available. It's going to be Warren Punky Brewster. Warren Brewster. Punky Brewster. He will be pitching for the Phillies in this 1-1 tie. And due up for the Cubbies, it'll be Vail, Bintner and Jesus. We are in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting is allowed. But Vail is hitting 333, so I don't see any reason to pinch hit there. That would seem to be counterproductive. But hopefully what's not counterproductive is the fact that we are at the 7th inning stretch. And with the 7th inning stretch comes take me out to the ball game. All right, 7th inning stretch is in the books. And we are ready to keep going. That's right, Brian B. You got to keep Schmidt back for a high leverage situation, in my opinion. But everybody manages their own way. So, all right, here is Brewster facing Mike Vail. Bottom of the 7th, tied at 1. We got a 687. 687 is going to be a single for Mike Vail. Leadoff single for Mike Vail. He is aboard. He's 2 for 3. Single and a double. Vail, not much of a threat to run, so he will hold. Here's Larry Bintner. .102 is a redirect to a 302, which is going to be a strikeout. Strikeout of Bintner for out number 1. That'll bring up to Jesus. 415, and that's going to be against a right-handed pitcher. That is a strikeout. It would have walked against the lefty, but against the righty, he strikes out. That is out number 2. And it's going to bring up Larry Cox. .598. That could be a little trouble for McBride, I should say. .598 is a single plus. Run on first could challenge going to third. We'll see if that's the case. The arm of McBride is a 4. The runner on first, Vail, is a speed of 0. So I don't think they're going to challenge that. They're just going to put it first and second. 2 down. And we got a pinch hitter coming up for the pitcher, Donnie Moore. So the Cubs will go to their bench again for a pinch hitter for Donnie Moore. And we'll look at who the pinch hitters could be. Now that Brewster is in, we got some lefties we could go to. We got Rader and Mioli are lefties, and switch hitters Gordon and Ontiveros for the Cubs. Let's see who's got the better average, and maybe might have the best chance to do something here. And it appears from what I'm seeing that Steve Ontiveros is the man. Switch hitting third baseman. So Steve Ontiveros. These other guys aren't much. You're in desperation time to get there. But with 2 on and 2 out, this is the Cubs' chance to take the lead. So you got to go with the best you have. And that's Ontiveros. He is on to pinch hit against Brewster. See what happens. Whoa, a 627. Make it a 637 with the home team batting, but that's still going to be a 3-6 put out. In this case, with 2 outs, it's just a 3 unassisted. and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Cubbies here in the bottom of the 7th, and they will need a new pitcher as Donnie Moore was pinch hit for. So now they'll have to go to the bullpen once again. And let's see who the Cubbies might want to use. You got Luzinski, Hebner, and Carnell coming up. 2 out of 3 are right-handed. So in the top of the 8th, a little early, I would think, for Bruce Sutter, but we shall see what they might want to do here. They're going to go with Lynn McLaughlin, reliever and part-time starter. He started 1 game and relieved in all the rest. So we're going with McLaughlin here in the top of the 8th. So Lynn McLaughlin. That'll leave Sutter, Geisel, and Hernandez. Sutter, the righty, and 2 lefties in the bullpen for the Cubbies. So now Greg Luzinski will lead it off in the top of the 8th, tied at 1, 585. Center field check for defense, Bobby Mercer. He is in center field, right? Yep. So we have to use a secondary average because he's in center field. His main position is right field. So we got to go to our rating space defense card. That's how we do that. And we go right through here. We're going to check the range first. So if the blue die, 5, is less than or equal to the arm, go over here, the arm rating is a 5. So the blue die is, in fact, less than or equal to that. So it's a fly out to center field. That's pretty much all you do for the secondary defensive play. So the play is made on Luzinski, 1 away. Mercer made the nice play. Here's Richie Hebner. That's a 627, and that's going to be a pop up to short. So Hebner pops it up to short for 2 away. And we got Jose Cardinal. That's a 252, and that's a split chance. Cardinal's a righty. 252 is a strikeout. So McLaughlin pitches a scoreless 8th, and we go to the bottom of the 8th, still tied at 1 apiece. So playing this game in Comiskey has really thrown off the offenses, apparently. Up for the Phillies is Brewster. Now, he is tired because he's already pitched 1 inning. He's starting his 2nd inning of work, so he is going to be subject to fatigue. So they will keep an eye on that. He is set to bat 3rd next inning, so they like to be able to get through the inning if they can. So they'll just weigh it out and see what happens. Scott, 148 is a fly to left. As long as it gets people out, it's no big deal. But once somebody gets on base, that's where there's a problem. So Scott is out of there. Here is Gene Kleins. That's a 152, and it's another fly to left. So back-to-back flyouts to left field will send us to Bobby Mercer. A 490. 490 against right-handers is a deep drive to right field. So by not bringing in a lefty reliever, we were trying to get Brewster through the inning, but that would have been a strikeout. But instead, it's a deep drive to right. We've already added 1 to the ballpark because of the weather. So we're in deep drive. We're going to take these 2 dice, add 1 to it, and see what we get. So the power rating on Mercer is a 3, but we're going to add 1 to that, make it a 4. So we'll take 4 plus these 2 dice. And that's a 17. 4 plus 17 to 21. It's gone. Home run. Bobby Mercer. Look at it again. 17 plus the 4 for the power rating, or 3 from the power rating is a 20, plus the 1 from the stadium is a 21. And a 21 is a home run. I think that's out of Wrigley Field as well. So I don't think that made a difference there. But a 2-out solo home run in the bottom of the 8th gives the Cubs a 2-1 lead. Bobby Mercer, and now Bruce Sutter is ready to go in the bullpen. He's all ready to go. McLaughlin did his job, but he's going to come out of there, and they're going to Bruce Sutter to try to save the game in the 9th. There's Trio. 378, and that's going to be a 5-3 ground out to end the inning. But Bobby Mercer's home run gives the Cubs a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 9th. Bottom of the 9th. And it will be Mr. Sutter No question about it. That's all for Brewster. He went 2 innings and gave up the run. He's on the hook for the loss. So Sox, or the Cubs rather, will turn to Mr. Suter. His 27 saves. And do it for the Phillies. It'll be Cardinal, Boone, and Sizemore, but there are pinch hitting possibilities. Don't know if there's anybody on the bench. Well, obviously Schmidt. Schmidt would bat for the pitcher in the 3rd spot. So it's going to be actually Cardinal made the last out last inning. So it's going to be Boone, Sizemore. They're going to pinch it for Sizemore too. He's a .219 hitter, so they will pinch it for Sizemore as well, probably with Davey Johnson. Let's see who they've got on the bench that they might want to go to. We know Schmidt's going to bat for the pitcher, and I believe Davey Johnson is going to be the one to come in and pinch hit. Now he's 191. We're not using him, that's for sure. They'll find somebody else. They will find McCarver. So McCarver is going to be the one to pinch hit for Sizemore. It'll be Boone, McCarver, and Schmidt. Those will be the 3 coming up in the 9th for the Phillies. Boone, McCarver, and Schmidt. Carver will hit for Sizemore. If it goes to the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th inning, they'll use Davey Johnson to play second base, or either Harrelson, one or the other. But McCarver and Schmidt are going to be pinch hitting. So, top of the 9th, 2-1 ball game. And here's Boone. 331 non-split is going to be a ground ball to 3rd. So 1 away as Boone grounds out to 3rd base. And now the first pinch hitter, Tim McCarver, is up. He's a .247 hitter. 447 against a right-hander. 447 is going to be a 4-3 ground out. So that's 2 away. And now it's up to Michael Jack Schmidt. Hall of Famer against Hall of Famer right here. 2 outs in the top of the 9th of a 2-1 game. We get a 290. And a 290 is a deep drive to left field. What you know about that? Deep drive to left. Schmidt's power is a 9. So we're going to add that plus the 1 from the weather. Gives him a 10. So already he starts at 10. And we're going to add the 2 dice. And if he can get to 18 or higher, he's going to hit a home run. That's a 9. So that's a 19. That's a pinch hit home run for Mike Schmidt. And we got a tie ball game just that quickly. Home run, Michael Jack Schmidt. And we have a tie ball game at 2. Bruce Sutter has blown the save. And now the Phillies will have to get the bullpen going for them as well. Here's, actually should be McBride, not Boa. I don't know how Boa got in there. It should be McBride. Out of order here. McBride, a 350 for McBride, is going to be a single. Infield single for Bake McBride. The inning continues. Can McBride steal? Absolutely. He's got stole 28 bases, so he's definitely going to try to get the lead. His steal rating is a 1. The hold is a 1, so basically needs these 2 dice to equal 10 or higher to get the lead. And they do not, so he has to hold. Bake McBride not going anywhere. Here's Larry Bowa. That's a 332, and that's going to be another infield single. So back-to-back infield singles. And now, boy, Bruce Sutter having some issues. Gary Maddox now with the go-ahead run in scoring position. 582. That should be, I'm sorry, 528. That's going to be bad news for Mr. Larry Cox. A 528 is going to be a pass ball. So pass ball on Cox, and that's going to advance the runners to 2nd and 3rd. So runners go to 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs for Maddox, the batter. Sutter not getting any help from his defense for sure. Now a base hit can score 2 runs. On deck, is Luzinski, so you're certainly not going to walk Maddox to get Luzinski, I wouldn't think. 555, that's going to be the third baseman. In this case, that is Rodney Scott. A 555 is going to be a single to left field, so the Phillies take the lead. It might be a 2-run lead because the ball was hit to left field. It means he can challenge the left fielder, challenge his arm. But scoring is McBride to give the Phillies a 3-2 lead. Boa, let's check his running. Boa runs at a 7 speed. That's very good. The left fielder arm is Gene Klein's. His arm in left field is a 6. So it's a 7 to a 6. So still the advantage goes to the runner because he's got a +1 here. So we need this to equal 9 or better. And it does. So both runs will score. A 2-run single from Gary Maddox, and the Phillies have blown this open with 3 runs here against the closer Suter. Cubs were not expecting that. Here's Luzinski now. 152, and that's finally a strikeout to end the inning, but 3 runs in the 9th by the Phillies. And now they will bring on their closer to try to close things out in the 9th. Playing second base now will be Bud Harrelson as a pinch hit for Sizemore. So Harrelson will come into the game to play second base. That will leave Davey Johnson and Barry Foote on the bench. In the bullpen, you either got Tug McGraw or you got Ron Reed, whichever you prefer. Let's check their numbers and see who might be the better option. Also got Eastwick, but he's not very good. At least not in 78 he wasn't. So let's see whether McGraw or Ron Reed. We got our choice. McGraw or Ron Reed. Reed's technically the closer. McGraw did have 9 saves, but Reed had 17. So I think we're going to default and go to Ron Reed out of the bullpen. So Ron Reed in back of Brewster. And actually, Brewster can get the win now, as the 3 runs belong to him. And coming up for the Cubbies, it'll be Vail, Bittner, and DeJesus. And there's really nobody on the bench any better. So we're going to just go with who they have. So Reed facing Vail. Phillies now lead at 4-2, bottom of the 9th. That's a 542 second baseman. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as you bring in a new second baseman, the ball will find you. It just seems to happen. I don't know what it is, some kind of karma or whatever, but it always does. So Bud Harrelson, a 542 is good play. 1 away. Harrelson up to the task. It brings up Larry Bittner. Cubs need a bloop and a blast. 292 against a lefty. Well, got a chance for the blast. I don't know about the bloop, but that's a deep drive to right. His power is only a 2. Stadium does add 1, makes him a 3. Add 3, and then whatever these 2 dice add up to. 3 and a 5 is a total of 8. That's going to be a single, so it won't be a big hit, but it's a single. That's the start. You got to have a runner on base to bring the tying run to the plate. So Bittner singles brings up DeJesus. He is the tying run. Reed 311, and that's a strikeout of DeJesus. 2 down, and it's all up to Larry Cox. The pitcher spot is next, so they would have to use probably Doug Rader off the bench. The best they have on the bench, I think. But right now, they're going to let Larry Cox take a swing at it. 397, and that is a single plus. Boy, 399 would have been a home run to tie the game. 397 is just a single plus, and that puts runners at first and second. The plus means a runner on second would have scored on the single, but a runner on first does not get to third unless it's a double plus. But now we're at the pitcher spot, so Bruce Sutter will be relieved, and they'll have to bring in a new pinch hitter. Rader's a 203 hitter, but your only other option is Rudy Mioli. He's a 103 hitter, and Gordon, who's a 200 hitter. So Rader's your best bet. Raider of the Lost Ark, maybe. I don't know. But Raider is your last gasp hope if you're the Cubs. Last gasp hope. Doug Raider. Tying runs are on base. 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th. 528. That's problematic for Boone. That blue 8 is going to be bad news probably. 528 is a walk. It's going to load the bases. So all of a sudden now the bases are loaded, and Rodney Scott, who's already tripled in this game, is coming to the plate. How about that? He's already tripled. Bases are full of Cubs. The winning run is on first base. Tying runs are in scoring position with 2 outs for Rodney Scott. Pitching coach is out to talk to Reed to settle him down. McGraw is loosening the pen, but they want to have Reed see if he can finish what he started and get the save. Hello, Triple G. Good to see you. Bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, 4-2 Phillies, but the tying runs are on base. The winning run is actually on base at first. 2 outs, Rodney Scott against Ron Reed. That's a 5. And look, what do you know? We get a rare play. Haven't had one all game, and it waits till 2 outs in the 9th. Is that weird or what? So the bases are loaded on the rare play. So we go to rare play. And there's not specifically one for bases loaded, but I was told that on a rare play, we're going to be using page 39. If that's not the case, somebody let me know. But I believe we're using page 39 on the rare play. Bases loaded, page 39. Even though it says less than 2 outs, it says bases loaded. It's got 2 outs here, so to me, page 39 is where we're going. Oh, 2 outs, you use 30 to 33? Is that what it says? Is that what we're doing? We use 30 to 33 when there are 2 outs? All right, that's where it's a little confusing, because this is not, I will tell Clay to his face, this is not put out very well. This is very, very confusing. And I'm big on diagrams, but this is not clear at all. Because there's nothing here that would tell me to go to 30 to, because 30 to 33 says bases empty or runners on second and third. Tells me to go here. Bases loaded, the only box I see here is to go here. Go across from 2 outs. Oh, because the 2 outs is not in this box. The 2 outs is outside of this box. That means I go here. Is that what that's talking about? If that's the case, it is very ambiguous. And they really need to fix this. This is not clear cut whatsoever. See, if I didn't have somebody there explain it to me, I wouldn't know. All right, so we're all going to page 30. But that's just, it is not well written. I can tell you that. It needs to be fixed. Clarified in some way. But anyway, we're going to the rare plays on page, and we are on page 30 right here. Might go to the next page if we get a high enough number. And we do. 479 means we have to go to page 31. So page 31, 479. So we are at page 31, and we're looking at 479, which is right here. Single plus plus E9. Single to right field if white die, this one, is higher than right fielder's fielding. The batter advances to second base on a fielding area by the right fielder. Well, that means the game's over because all 3 runners will score. If the batter gets to second, if there's an error, the single plus plus puts him to third, and then the error would send him home. Right fielder McBride, his rating in right field was fielding's an 8. So I guess it's not an error because his fielding's an 8. And that's higher than the 7. So to me, it's a single 2-run score, and runners are at the corners. And Captain, you can tell me if that is the way I should play that. Bases were loaded. rolled a 4-7-9. So it's a single plus plus. So automatically guys on second and third will score, and the run on first would go to third. But then we're checking for an E9. The 10 digits is not higher than the fielded rating because the fielded rating is an 8. That's a 7. So there's not going to be an error. So the batter stays at first, the other runner goes to third. Does that sound correct to you from what I've done? Okay, looks correct. Thank you very much. And well, we got a tie game. So Ron Reed can't save it either. It's now 4-4. Thanks to the rare play. And now Gene Kleins has a chance to walk it off. But it's a single for Scott. 2-run single is going to score Bentner, and it's going to score Cox. Going to third is Rader, the pinch hitter. And now runners are on the corners with 2 outs for Gene Kleins. That's a 655. 655. We add 10, make it a 665, but it's still going to be a 3-1 ground out, and that's going to end the inning, and we got free baseball. Not exactly what I was intending, but that's the way it turned out. Because now I'm down to minimal usage of players because we've used a lot of guys already. So the Cubs have to bring in Willie Hernandez to pitch. Ron Reed blows the save. He's going to have to come out. And Tug McGraw will probably pitch the bottom of the 10th. But we are tied at 4 as we now go to the top of the 10th. And it'll be Hebner, Cardinal, and Boone due up for the Phillies. And Willie Hernandez. Guillermo, don't call me Willie Hernandez. Famous from the 84 Tigers, obviously. But in 78, he was with the Cubs. So we go to Willie Hernandez. Lefty out of the bullpen. That just leaves Dave Geisel. He's the only one left. So if we get down to him, they're really in trouble. So, well, Schmidt can't hit another home run because he's out of the game. He pinch hit, and that was it. So, all right, so we're going to have Hebner, Cardinal, and Boone against Willie Hernandez, top of the 10th. Game tied at 4. That's a 654. 654 is going to be a 6-3 ground out, so Hebner is out of there. Keep in mind this game is played at Comiskey today because of problems with Wrigley Field. So Jose Cardinal. Not that that's really made that much of a difference, but 171, and that's going to be a walk. So Willie Hernandez will issue a free pass to Cardinal. And Cardinal got caught stealing 3 times, so he's not going anywhere. Bob Boone is your batter. Still got Davey Johnson sitting there on the bench along with Barry Foote if they need a pinch hitter. 529. Oh, that's trouble for the catcher. The catcher, Larry Cox. A 529 is going to be a pass ball, and that'll get the winning run or the go-ahead run in scoring position on a pass ball with 1 out. A pass ball, and now Boone back to the plate. 1-0 count on a pass ball. That's a 335, and that's against a lefty. 3-3. But in this case, it's a non-split. It's a 6-3 ground out. Runner will hold at second. 2 down for Bud Harrelson. Not McCarver, but Harrelson, because he came in to play second base when McCarver pinch hit for Sizemore. So this is Bud Harrelson's first at-bat. Pitcher spot is next, so they could walk Harrelson and pitch to one of the pinch hitters, but Harrelson's only a 214 hitter, so they're going to pitch to him. 681. 681 is going to be a single plus, and so they paid pitching to Harrelson, did not pay off. Harrelson base hit gives the Phillies the lead back 5-4 on a single plus. 681. Look at it again. 681. Single plus, runner on second scores, and the Phillies take the lead. And now there's a pinch hitter coming up for the pitcher, Reed. And we'll get that pinch hitter. Like I said, not much to choose from. Barry Foote hit 158. Davey Johnson hit 191. So I guess we're looking at Davey Johnson, plus he's right-handed. Well, Foote is as well, but Johnson's the better hitter. So Johnson will pinch hit here in the 10th. Last time they had a pinch hitter, Mike Schmidt hit a home run. So let's see what Davey Johnson can do. Not this time. 126, a redirect to a 326, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. But the Phillies get a run, and they will go into the bottom of the 10th with a 5-4 lead, and they will turn it over to Tug McGraw to try to close the deal on the Cubbies. So Tug McGraw, you got to believe, is looking to finish this sucker off and send the fans who made the short trip over from Wrigley Field to Comiskey, send them home unhappy. So McGraw will be facing Mercer. I'm sorry, he'll be facing, Mercer, Trio, and Vail, although Mercer homered his last time up in the bottom of the 8th. That at the time gave the Cubs a 2-1 lead. Seemed like a long time ago. All-Star game, I might, since there's no NBC game of the week next Saturday because of the Wimbledon, the next schedule after that is the All-Star game. So I probably will do the All-Star game now that you mentioned it. I got to go pull Jack Murphy Stadium or San Diego Stadium because I think the game was played in San Diego in 1978, if I'm not mistaken. But I may do that. That sounds like a great idea, Jimmy Jam. Thank you for reminding me of that. All right, so McGraw to Mercer, 363 is going to be a fly to left, one away. So McGraw trying to end this thing. It says, we're not going to an 11th. This is going to be it, fellas. Here's Trio, followed by Vail. 449 against the lefty. 449 is a single by Manny Trio. Now the tying runs on base. And here comes Mike Vail, former Met. Maybe he can win it, be a hero. Or maybe he's a future Met. I'm not sure. I think he's a former Met. 5, we got a rare play again. Just what we needed. Another rare play. 508, runner is on first base. So let's go back to the chart here. And we got a runner on first with 1 out. So that tells me we go to page 34. So we go to page 34. Was it a 508 or a 580? I thought it was a 508. I can tell you in a minute. I can rewind this thing here by a couple seconds and try to figure out what the original roll was. Let's see here. I'm watching Trio just get his thing. So now let's check the roll. I want to be accurate. Mike Vail. The roll was a 580. You are correct. It was a 580 because it was red, white, and blue. The white die was an 8. So it is a 580. I stand corrected. So it is a center fielder check. And it should be simple. Gary Maddox, 580 is a fly to center. And that's 2 away. Thank you for that catch. Thank you for catching that. Thank you very much for catching that, Captain. For some reason I read that as 508 and it should have been 580. So you were correct. All right, last chance for the Cubbies. It is Larry Bittner. 694, but the home team's batting, so it's a 704. So that's a deep drive to center field. How do you like that? Bittner, a deep drive. Its power rating's a 2. We had 1 for the warm weather, makes it a 3. So we're going to have a 3 on a deep drive to center field. We're looking at a 3 plus these 2 dice. That's a 10. Total of 13. It's going to be a fly to center field, and there's your ball game. Bittner flies to center, and the game is over. Maybe if it was played at Wrigley, it might have been a different story, but it was not. It was played at Comiskey, and the Phillies hang on and win it by the final score of 5-4. 5-4. Winning pitcher is Ron Reed. The loser is Bruce Sutter, and the save goes to Tug McGraw. So how about that wild one? Let's check the hits for the Phillies and get the total for you. They had a lot of hits. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hits I have for the Phillies. For the Cubs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got them for 11 hits. So there's your final line score. 5 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error for the Phillies. 4 runs, 11 hits, and no error for the Cubs. Winning pitcher Ron Reed, losing pitcher Bruce Sutter, and Tug McGraw picks up the save. So the Phillies, in a back-and-forth ball game, outlast the Cubs in 10 innings by the score of 5-4. So, given the fact that there is no game next Saturday for the NBC game of the week because of Wimbledon, they did not have coverage. What we're going to do here is there won't be a season ticket game on Saturday. It will be on Tuesday night. Not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. Next Tuesday will be the All-Star game from San Diego. All-Star game from San Diego. That will be the next broadcast for season ticket. It'll be next Tuesday. So what's today? The 5th. So Tuesday is, let's see, 6th is Sunday. Was it 8th? Is that the 15th? Am I looking at my calendar right? Is next Tuesday the 15th? Let's see here. Yes. So July 15th. July 15th, Tuesday night, or July 15th. I'll try to work it around RJL's game that he does. So I may do it earlier, I may do it later. It depends. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know what time yet, Jimmy Jam, because I don't want to be cutting in front of RJL, because I know he's going to have his 99 season going hot and heavy that time. So we'll figure it out. I'll work something out with Robert, and we'll try to figure something out here so that we can get both games done on that date. So, or I could do it on, I mean, it doesn't have to be on Tuesday necessarily, but I mean, unless I do it on once this thing starts, Monday night, then he's going to be streaming every night. So it's going to be kind of hard to avoid that. So we'll figure something out, but there will be an All-Star game. It just won't be this week. Could do it on Saturday morning, I guess. I could do it at noon tomorrow, next Saturday, just that way we're not interfering with anybody. So maybe that's the better option to do that, is to play it Saturday at noon. That's a good option, Captain. So I think that's what we'll do. I think rather than try to work around RJL and his stuff, we'll just do next Saturday. Instead of the NBC game of the week next Saturday, it'll be the All-Star game. That's what we'll do. We'll do the All-Star game from San Diego. So that'll give me a week to get all these cards together, get all the All-Stars pulled out and set to the side. Print out my San Diego Stadium, because I don't think I have that printed out, because they're not in the San Diego is never on the in. Yes, midlife. It was in Comiskey because I could not find my Wrigley Field printout, so I had to play it in Comiskey. And so the narrative is that there was a heavy rain Friday night in Chicago, but the drainage at Wrigley Field had problems, so the field was unplayable. So the only solution they had was to drive across town and play at Comiskey. So that's what we did. All right, so next Saturday at noon will be the 1978 All-Star Game with season ticket, and that'll be from San Diego. So I'll be much better prepared next Saturday. I'll have plenty of time to get everything ready, and it'll be as played. So we'll have everything ready to go there. So appreciate you guys bearing with me from the start when it was a little bit out of sorts from the get-go. But as the game went on, we moved along. Special thanks to Captain Von Honden, or however it's pronounced, for the rules help on a lot of these things. And another good season ticket game. I'm telling you, once this NBC Game of the Week thing is over with, once that season's over with, I might come back to Season Ticket and maybe do a Ron Guidry replay or something, where I can where I can start keeping stats for one team or whatever and see how accurate the stats would be. Obviously, Ron Guidry replay is pretty intriguing in 1978, so that's something that is possible to do, maybe. So anyway, that's going to do it from here. Thank you all for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with me. Hope you had a nice 4th wherever you were. I didn't hear many fireworks outside. I heard more sparklers than anything else. In fact, it sounded like it was raining because I heard so many sparklers. But I wasn't near any big fireworks displays where I heard any booming or anything like that. So pretty quiet other way around. So anyway, tonight, and I don't want to break into a Genesis song about tonight. If you remember that song from back in the day. We will have the Cardinals and the Braves inside pitch 1977 replay, April 29th game. It'll be Bob Forsch against Phil Niekro from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. And this is a game I originally had picked out for next Saturday because it was not an NBC Game of the Week. But I think rather than do this game, we'll go ahead and do the All-Star game. Probably be easier and better. That way we kill 2 birds with 1 stone and take care of it. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to check out in a couple days. I think Monday night, probably. I don't know exactly the time. Maybe around 7:30ish or 8. I think it's closer to 8 because he's working until 6 o'clock now. So I think he said 8 o'clock is probably his better starting time for 1999 opening day. Opening day inside pitch season replay with Fast Score 1999. Be there or be square, as he says, with the inside pitch, and then you can find out which rules from version 4 he's using and which ones he's not. But anyway, that's good from here. So hope you all have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're doing. If you can tonight, check it out. I'll be online about 8 o'clock tonight doing the inside pitch game between the Braves and the Cardinals. Phil Niekro and Bob Forsch. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.